stuck at six figures, your brain's programming might just be the problem. The average six-figure entrepreneur works 64 hours a week, yet struggles to pay themselves consistently. Why? Because your brain's is still wired for six figures versus seven. Now imagine waking up to find your business generated 15,000 while you slept. Your team handled everything. Your clients are thrilled. You're not exhausted for once because your brain is finally wired like a seven-figure CEO for delegation, for systems, and true CEO level thinking instead of the constant push and fear and firefighting that isn't fantasy. It's exactly what happens when you unlock the next level of your brain's operating system, which is precisely what we're covering today. In this video, you'll discover exactly why your current brain is wired, keeping you trapped at six figures. You'll learn the science-backed steps to transform your brain for seven figures instead of six, and a proven framework to upgrade your mental operating system so growth feels natural instead of exhausting. I want you to think about your morning routine for a moment. You wake up, maybe you check your phone, and then what's one of the first things you do? You look right in the mirror. There's something fascinating about this daily habit that neuroscience has uncovered. When we look in the mirror each morning, we're not just checking our appearance, we're actually reinforcing our identity. We're reminding ourselves who we are. Now, here's what gets critical for you as a six-figure entrepreneur. Every morning, you're essentially doing the same thing in your business. You're looking in your entrepreneurial mirror, checking your metrics, responding to the same problems, feeling the same fears about scaling. Your brain is simply remembering who you are as a business owner. The problem isn't your strategy. The problem is your neural pathways. The actual physical connections in your brain have been wired for hustle, for survival, for doing everything yourself. That wiring got you to six figures. It was brilliant for that. It's exact wiring, however, that is preventing you from reaching seven. Let me show you what I mean. When you look in the mirror, you see yourself as you are today, but the seven-figure version of you needs you to see something different. They need you to see the CEO, not the hustler, visionary, not the technician, a leader, not a doer. This isn't just motivational fluff. This is neuroscience. The patterns in your brain that created your six-figure success are literally different from the patterns needed for your seven-figure success. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to unlock those patterns. Let's talk about why you're stuck. Did you know that by age 35, 95% of who you are is just a set of memorized behaviors, emotions, reactions, and beliefs? That's right, 95%. Your brain is literally running on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, same behaviors, and emotions that got you to six figures. Think about it. The same hustle mindset, the same DIY approach, the same fear of letting go, they're all wired into your neural pathways. And these pathways are incredibly strong. They're like super highways in your brain that automatically take you down the same routes every single day. Problem is that your brain has become wired for survival, not for scale. It's wired to doing everything yourself instead of leading through others. And unlocking your brain is the only way to break through that ceiling that's keeping you stuck. That creates what I call the identity gap. You're caught between who you are and who you need to become. You started your business for freedom to lead, to impact, to be present with your family. But if you're being honest, the thing that you built to create the freedom now feels like a treadmill you cannot get off of. You're working more hours, you're paying your team, and sometimes not yourself. You're deep down, you're starting to wonder, what if this is it? What if I don't have what it takes to get to seven? Your brain is actually fighting this transformation because it's wired to maintain status quo. Your brain doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about keeping you safe. And to your brain, safe means familiar. Safe means doing what you've always done, even if it's keeping you stuck. So how do we change this? The answer lies in Romans 12:2, says to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not by your strategy, not by your marketing, your mind. This is where neuroplasticity comes in. Your brain's incredible ability to form new connections. Every time you think a new thought or practice a new behavior, you're actually creating a new neural pathway. And with repetition, these neural pathways become stronger. High-performing seven-figure CEOs don't just have better strategies. They have fundamentally different patterns running in their minds. They've wired their brains to think like a CEO, not like a technician. They've wired their brains for delegation, not for doing, for vision, not minutia. Let me show you a three-part framework to transform your brain from six-figure hustle to seven-figure leadership. Part A is conscious interruption. You need to break those habitual thought patterns that have been keeping you stuck. When you catch yourself thinking like a six-figure entrepreneur, I need to do it all myself, or no one can do it as well as I can. Stop. Interrupt the pattern. Recognize it for what it is, an old neural pathway that served its purpose but is now limiting you. Okay, part B, brain priming. This is where you practice thinking and feeling as a seven-figure entrepreneur with daily brain primes that you create. Ask yourself, what would a seven-figure CEO do in this situation? How would they approach this problem? How would they feel about this challenge? Then embody that. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. By rehearsing this new identity, you're literally creating new neural pathways. All right, part C. This is an environmental redesign. Your environment is consistently reinforcing your current neural pathways. To create lasting change, you need to redesign your environment to support your new identity. This means changing who you spend time with, what information you consume, and how your workspace is organized. Your environment should reflect who you're becoming, not who you've been. All right, let's get really practical now. How do you actually implement this in your daily life? Start small, consistent practices. Remember, neurons that fire together, wire together. So consistency matters more than intensity. Every morning, spend 10 minutes visualizing yourself as the seven-figure CEO. What decisions are you making? How are you showing up for your team? What does it feel like? Make it vivid and detailed. Then create a daily trigger to remind yourself to check in with your thinking. Maybe it's a notification on your phone or a sticky note on your monitor. When you see it, ask yourself, am I thinking like a six-figure hustler or a seven-figure CEO right now? Finally, at least one thing each day you can delegate that you normally would do yourself. This isn't about freeing up time. It's about wiring your brain to think differently about your role. Small daily practices like these lead to major neurological shifts over time. Your brain will literally change its structure as you're consistently practicing these new ways of thinking. Now that you understand how your brain is currently wired for six-figure survival rather than seven-figure scale, you might be wondering, how do I actually implement these neurological changes in my real business right now? This is exactly why I created the 67-day-year immersion experience. Because you see, simply understanding the science is not enough. You need a structured environment specifically designed to facilitate this brain transformation, because trying to rewire your neural pathways while continuing to operate in the same business environment is like trying to build new habits while surrounded by all those old triggers. The 67-day-year immersion experience is a 3-day experience where we work together to that critical neurological shift. It's not another strategy session. It's not a tactical workshop. It's a complete rewiring of your entrepreneurial operating system. These 3 days will walk step by step through the neuroscience-backed process to unlock your brain from six-figure survival to seven-figure CEO level. Create your new 90-day revenue roadmap with your upgraded processing and execution patterns, and eliminate the internal resistance that's been keeping you stuck. This isn't just another event. It's a bridge between who you are now and who you were meant to become as a seven-figure CEO. Click the link below to join the waitlist. Spots are super limited, and I want you in the room if this makes sense to make this transformation right now. Remember, you don't have a strategy problem. You have a brain that's waiting to be upgraded. Let's make that upgrade happen together.